What is up, beautiful souls? I just want to touch base. I want to see how everybody's doing. Um, Especially as we approach April, I cannot help but feel like this is such a stimulation. We have Mercury retrograde happening on the 1st. We have the total solar eclipse happening on the 8th. And if it's not enough, they want to turn back on CERN. What? Is there anything such as coincidence? And then we have a Devil's Comet coming up on the 21st and 3 days of darkness from 25th through 27th. It's funny, I was talking to one of my soul brothers, and it was like, with every contraction comes an expansion. But that being said, I've had a few downloads that have come to me over the last few years, and they feel like they're kind of compiling, and just some downloads, things I want to share, especially for the times that we are approaching. The first and foremost is remembering the power that we have within, and what kind of time are we living right now, right? I feel guided to one of my old journal entries, but it's, if you look around and you can kind of see what's happening with our brothers and sisters who are walking unconsciously, if you will. It's a lot of trauma. I see a lot of trauma coming up, a lot of healing that needs to be progressed, and things that you can't really heal until you're aware of. And we are in a new era, a new age for that. So an old journal entry that came to my mind was about the trauma. And what is so, this is such a key phrase, and I talk about consciousness a lot because that's what we are, right? We are energy with a conscience. We are souls. We are spirit. It's all about this expansion and awareness and staying present, because all we have is now. Now is our forever, right? And this is the most powerful state. Like, to me, it was so powerful. It's through our unconsciousness, there is no free will. In consciousness, there is free will. Now, I feel like that's very, very important because of the download I just received that I'm going to share with you guys here in a minute. But it's the unconscious trauma that is our destiny, right? Whereas unconscious energy has no choice. Now, let me help elaborate on that a little bit. Based on what we've been through as a collective or even individually, our past is the accumulation of what we know. And often, I have the fear reduces the capacity to make choices in this moment. It overshadows the present ability to make choice, which has nothing to do with the present moment, right? That's trauma. It's the stuff that keeps us stuck in the only thing that we are familiar with, which is the past. And your future isn't tomorrow. It is what we do with our downloads that we receive today. That's how we create the future, because there's only now. And if we are living in the past of our trauma, we can't move forward. We keep on repeating history, right? And I think we are genuinely in a time frame where we are doing a contraction, and we're going to have a huge expansion. So the past is going to repeat itself until it becomes conscious. And the difference between destiny and fate, right? This is what's so beautiful, is one is ruled by the unconscious, where free will is non-existent, until it becomes the consciousness. Our trauma is our fixation, a disorder of being unable to live in the present moment. So we want to heal that. It's essential that we heal that so we can see beyond. We aren't being manipulated by circumstances, situations, not looking outside of us for the answers, right? Because it's always going to be within. Trauma is our broken connection to self, to others, and to spirit. Trauma is the intellect of holding polar opposites of the energy frequencies. Welcome to this world of duality, right? Here on earth. It is what connects us and it divides us by illumination. Now, those are some really key things, and I felt pulled to that, and it makes sense for the download that I've received today in the power of our consent, why we are where we are. I'd like to go back to like the past repeats itself until it becomes conscious. What's even more important to this is that if we are unconscious of our options of what we can do, that also limits us as well, right? So we need to, so anybody that tries to strip us of choice is a control mechanism. I've always said this, and I say it all the time. Love is the truest act, or truth is the truest act of love. It's a way of showing up and saying, hey, this is me, good and bad. None of us are perfect, but I honor you enough to show up and be honest with you. Now it's in your court to decide whether or not you want to formulate or foster a relationship with me or not. And even as you go through, it's intimate, but it's the truth. And the truth in any kind of relationship, friendship, partnership, intimacy, right? In today's world, it's put your best foot forward. And then 6 or 8 months down the road, when I feel a little bit more safer with you, I can expose my true self. And what a limiting, exhaustive world that is. But in today's world, we have been stripped, and it's a condition, because there is a human psychology to us and the things that we desire. But moreover, just going to what's happening in our world, this great awakening, how much has been stripped from us. We are more powerful than we know, and they fear the day we remember. And I believe we are remembering. And that's what's so huge. So we're healing. We're going through the pain right now as a collective. And the more we go through it, the more we realize it's not about left or right, right? As we go through it, we realize it's not about politics. As we go through it, we're going to discover it's so much more spiritual. It's so much about our power and how the powers to be would rather keep that away from us. Those who are unconscious, those who do, forgive them for they know not what they do. And that's, I'm going to throw this out really quick. Spirit has never liked me to use the word evil. But I've sat on it, guys. And I think the word evil, and if there is such a place, well, hell is a state of consciousness, and that's a different thing I'll go on. But forgive them for they know not what they do. I think those who genuinely do not understand their ripple effect are living in a state of unconsciousness. Those who do understand the ripple effect with all their heart, they understand that it is more than just this moment, but out into the immortality of who we are, the essence, and don't care, and they go against that. I think that might be a line of considered evil. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I just want to talk about that for a second. But, what am I talking about? The powers to be, those who wish to control us because they do not know how to control themselves, have stripped us of our power, and us being programmed at a young age, not knowing any better, not having the truth of love delivered to us for us to make our own choice, we have been limited in our own free will. And thus, it's through our unconsciousness, there's no free will. And in consciousness, there is free will. So we are, I believe, in a time frame where we are being liberated by going through it, by the truth coming out. And one of the biggest stumbling blocks through our healing is usually a cognitive, oh my goodness, what is dissonance, cognitive dissonance. That's one of the biggest leaps in our healing, is we don't want to believe something that we've been programmed. It's our whole life. It's everything that has been structured around this. And I'm saying this, not necessarily, take what fits you, but also recognize this with our brothers and sisters, right? Just one quick story. I was out driving and I heard this gawking noise. Anyway, I looked up and there was two birds. And I don't know what kind of birds they were. It was a blackbird and looked like a hawk of some, like maybe a raven or crow, were attacking this hawk in the air. And I don't know the scenario. I don't know why birds attack each other. I don't know. But it was like he was tormenting this hawk and he was coming down and you could just tell he was picking at him. And my heart immediately went out. And I didn't realize why I was so upset at that moment, right? I just knew that's that discernment or that energy. And I pulled over and I said a silent prayer. I called on my angels and the love of I am and God and the divine for this moment. And it's like separate them. Like, I don't want to see one bird dead or the other. And where there's two or more witnesses, I believe they say God will. So anyway, I called on my angels, right? Because we're never alone. And I prayed for a gust of wind, and I'm making this prayer because I don't want. And I realized, like, I'm kind of like, why am I praying this? And it's like, because there's two little souls, and that bird feels pain. The bird feels pain. The animals feel pain, right? And I just pray for a gust of wind. But then it's like, if thy will be done. If that's your will, like maybe the bird needs to eat. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know why. But, and bless, from what I saw, the last of it, they were actually separated. Whether that was my prayer or if it just so happened, I don't know how it ended. That was the last thing I saw. But what caught me off guard about that was I was thinking, I didn't pray for one or the other one. I didn't want either one to be hurt, even though one was attacking the other. That's the nature of the kingdom. And that's just something to meditate on, because when we think about what if somebody was intentionally hurting another, there's often what struck me about that is we want retribution so often as humans. And that is another line of unconsciousness, and was just an interesting way that showed up to me yesterday. Maybe some for other people to meditate on. That being said, we are in a time of contraction, and the download for today and our power of consent. You have to bear with me because I did auto writing and I always stuck with it. I just go. And consent. These are some definitions that kingdom I felt that I should write down, and then we're going to go into what the Spirit gave me. But consent, some definitions, is to agree in opinion or sentiment, to be of the same mind, to accord, to concur, to grant, to allow, to assent, to omit, and voluntarily accordance with or concurrence in what is done or proposed by another. We are where we are today because we as a collective have consented, consciously or unconsciously, to where we are. And we have created a lot of trauma. A lot of the past is all we know, and we are healing through it. So, to the download. Thank you for your patience. Consent is the absolute of choice, and thus your free will. Every day you give consent to daily activities, when you choose to wake up, what you choose to engage with, and how you choose to show up for others. Do you see? Consent is a choice. This is important for saying this. This is important. Thus the importance of staying conscious and avoiding autopilot, especially as for times such as now. For every one yes, you surrender 1,000 avenues. In the state of consciousness, however, you will allocate your ability to discover other potential avenues, choices, and awareness. The canvas is up for your creation. What will you paint? What will you weave? What will you contribute? Stay open-minded, cued into discernment. Much is still yet to be revealed. Things that have been hidden, the same things that have stripped you of choices, will now begin to surface. Not all at once, but the unveiling has begun. Know that not a thing that was meant for you will be suppressed. And I think that goes back to the difference between fate and destiny. For it is you who chose to sign up for this. Even this experience is too an expression of your free will. You are supported. Stay in divine guidance by staying conscious and tuning in to the journey. Put on your light of armor and stay courageous. Your wave, your drop is all interconnected to the ocean. Remember why you came. You are so deeply loved and never, ever alone. Contractions equal expansion. I have so much love for you guys. Until next time. Keep your light of armor on. Mwah. Namaste.